Okay. What's okay?
Guys, Sundays are for everything above life. I'm back. Okay, you didn't get to hear that, but anyways, guys, the thoughts and the opinions that we're probably going to express are just general opinions. We're not giving out medical advice. I'm not a doctor. No, I'm an expert in any field. So I'm just giving my thoughts based on logic and based on the things that I've seen. And I'm safe to say that I'm speaking for everybody. I'm speaking to everybody that's going to have an opinion today. So if you feel I said something that you think is probably medical advice, no, you should probably consult a real doctor to actually find that out. Or do research yourself because I might be talking out of my ass. But anyways, here we are. It's Sundays. Everything is about life. I'm back. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about, it's November. So we're going to be talking about everything that's mental health. That's physical health, that's mental health, how we handle the stresses, pro tips, what things do we actually use, and all of that. So today I'm back. Here's the guy who was talking in the background, but he said hi. But today he's sitting in a chair. So yeah, he's back. Raymond Masinga. What's up?
Good things. So you
Nutty sitting in the background is trying to be a guy who tries to keep the time now.
what's in the key?
I'm back again with Nutty Almighty. Here's my course.
Aware.
Tell the camera about
You should just probably do a thing that you did.
Yeah.
Guys, like
You
just
just
see
see
me.
yo.
It's fine. So okay, let me start off. I think the past couple of, just to give a bit of context, with the past couple of months, upatwa I'm gonna say imposter syndrome, dog, right? So you feel like you wake up, you just wake up, you go to work, come back, sleep, wake up, go to work, come back, sleep, right? And then even my relationship dynamics with people were not the same, so to speak. They were not. I was not present for all of it, right? And then last week, I realized that no, I have to get my shit together, right? Because if I continue like this, things are just gonna start to unravel. My job's gonna start to unravel. My relationships with my friends or my loved ones or my family, it's gonna start to unravel. And in that case, I might start giving off. I might start losing a sense of purpose or
Connection.
yeah, or belonging. So there was this 2 days I just wanted to disconnect from like the world, right? Because I forgot that for a while. I forgot to okay, as much as I'm trying to do a job, I'm trying to do this and this and this. I sort of like forgot to like reconnect with myself because I do that from time to time. I just have time alone and just to think and just to ngiyabona mawuloku ufaka i-GPS to something that the migratory recenter. It was almost as if I was recentering, right? So I found that those 2 days were refreshing, and it brought me back to like I woke up the Sunday and my mindset had changed. Now I realized that okay, this is why I'm doing this, right? This is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I'm doing this. I should not forget why I'm doing it. So I don't know about you, Jen. So maybe we could probably start off with it. How how do you navigate um your maybe your personally your health um more especially your mental health because I think probably that's probably the most greatest of aspects. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's easy, really. And again, this is not advice to anybody. This is just what I do. For me, it's pretty easy. I mean, alcohol, chill with the gents, talk about it.
Alcohol is advice.
No, but I'm just saying, it works for me. It works. But here's the thing, man. You guys have to realize, yes, of course, he had a soft upbringing. Don't hate on him. He's typically the guy to tell you that no, it's okay to cry and all of that. But for me, it was not okay for Indot Dutikali. I grew up in a generation where Indot Daikali Mabakshaya Hami.
Okay, I'm gonna correct him. I'm gonna let him finish, and then I'm gonna correct him.
Yeah, but in the Daikani and all of that. But with me, I'd rather suck up the pain or whatever it is that I'm going through, have a couple of beers, relax with a couple of friends, and then talk through it. Talk through it. I find after that beer session, like I'm so relieved, like the weight of my shoulder has been lifted. That's just how I deal with it.
Mm-hmm. But that's
I know it's not healthy. I know it's not healthy, but it will do for now.
dog. It works for you.
Yeah,
If,
it does.
if something works for you, dog, it works for you. So I don't think people can personally judge you. No, dog, why are you drinking so much?
Yeah.
Try doing it as a way just to get through whatever you're going through. Almighty, what do you do, dog? How do you like? Well, okay, let me not. Basically, de-stressing. How do you de-stress? How do you keep yourself in mentally healthy? Aha. And then we'll talk. Yeah, we'll go into the physical things, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Because I feel the mental aspect is the most important.
Yeah, because it sets you up for the physical.
Exactly.
Now your mind is still thinking about it.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, dude, because I've never really thought about it.
yeah.
Because like, how do I, you know, de-stress or
Keep yourself mentally.
yeah,
mentally
because I
sensitive.
mean, I go into like the dark places. I understand it. Like I mean, if I'm going through something like depression and whatnot,
Yeah.
I sit in it. Like
You-
I
you-
wallow in it.
Actually, yeah, and that's actually a good thing because now when you let it, okay, let me not put it this way. When you let the pain like take over you, and then when it's done, and you're like, okay, you know what, I've been in the state for so long.
Yeah.
Now I want out.
Yeah.
You know that when you get out of that pain, you never want to go back there.
Yeah. Like I have those periods like well obviously like I'm not gonna say like I'm diagnosed for
Yeah,
depression,
yeah.
but I think we all kind of have an idea what
Yeah,
should
what
okay.
it is.
Yeah,
it is,
right
yeah.
now I'm
Where
depressed
nothing
and whatnot.
really makes
Yeah.
no sense or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand
get
that
it.
like if it requires me like to sleep in the whole week, I sleep in the whole week. You understand? Like I just
Listen
like
to the
cause
pain.
at that moment I'm helpless, I'm hopeless, like
Yeah.
I'm feeling like shit, the world is crushing me, like the walls are closing in, everything is on top of me, like this is like I can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
So then like I just I go into my shell.
You
Yeah.
retreat into it.
And you know what's the nice thing about that? I used to do that before I discovered that beer session could actually help me get through it so much more easy. Like when you're in your dark place and then you're like nothing's gonna come my way, nothing's gonna come my way, and then a spark suddenly drops in front of you, like, and you're like, it's like an angel appears right in front of you, like, yo, you've been here for quite some time. It's time you go out.
You
And
know
then
why?
that's when you start breaking the shell and
Yeah, you know why for me, like I like obviously we all used to do the beer session thing, you know, like we got to go down, whatever thing you're going
don't stop at that.
like whatever thing you're going through, you're like
Yeah.
shit, okay, let me go to the gents, let's drink some beers, talk about it, and then you know whatever happens in that moment, like we offer you advice or we console you, and. So for me, like I felt like shit, we are using like substances as a crutch.
Yeah.
I understand, and
Yeah.
like, cause like for me, like if I go hard, I go hard. Like mang puza, like
Oh yeah.
There's no
puza.
stopping.
If like it's smoking weed, you smoke weed. I
Yeah.
understand. Fortunately enough, I've never been into hard drugs, so
Oh yeah.
thank goodness for that, because I know Gucci, I would have been like an addict. But then like I don't have an addictive nature or personality. For me, I don't have it, but it's just a thing Gucci. Yes, so like I put myself into that addictive space, even though I'm not.
Well, with the drug use, nah, I don't know. I don't know what I was listening to. I think I was listening to a podcast. They were saying that Because I think we put so much shame into people doing drugs, but we cannot recognize what do we genuinely feel when maybe we're intoxicated off of alcohol, right? More especially because I think that's a genuine thing that we drink.
Oh.
What what are the general feelings that we do get from drinking alcohol? Personally, I like I'm in a happier state.
Yeah, and
I'm in a happier state, and I feel like um, it maybe takes me back to a place where my childhood was extremely happy. That's why it almost feels that way because oh yeah, I remember. Okay, but I'm not trying to promote anything, right?
Oh.
It's Joe Riplin's podcast, right? I was listening to this episode. I got Dr. Kabamate, and he was dealing with patients who use drugs, right? And he was helping them administer those drugs, but in a healthy environment, so they don't overdose, right?
Oh.
And then after Muhammad that after they're not high anymore, told us that they're sober, and the doctor would ask them, "Uguti, how did it feel?" To Uguti, one of those patients, they were abandoned by the mother, so they were abandoned by their parents actually, right? And they say that using those drugs was like getting a hug from their mother or being caressed by their mother.
oh, shit. Oh, so it takes them back mentally to their happier, like happy space, happy and safe space.
Exactly.
Okay, with what you were saying a bit earlier on, that you feel happier with when you consume alcohol, or you feel a whole lot happier. And I think it depends on what kind of a person you are, or what kind of if you're a violent person, when you drink or do drugs, you tend to get more violent. If you're a happier person, when you drink or take drugs, I find that a lot of people are happy.
No, but okay, Yabana, that goes back to you know how some people have an allergy to peanuts.
Oh yeah.
One because was would they have an allergy to peanuts if people didn't if peanuts were illegal? Think about it. If peanuts were illegal, also was then people are allergic to peanuts.
I mean, I kind of agree with that. That's Dr. What?
Yeah.
Where like you administer the drugs in a controlled environment at a certain dosage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have drugs, because drugs is umuti in a way. Like everything that is medicine is drugs.
Yeah.
And that's why they have that good take 2 pills every 4 hours, because that's the more controlled dosage, unlike you swallowing the whole pack. Honestly, that's overdose. I mean, I think that's the same thing with alcohol. Like taking alcohol like in a controlled dosage does help, but then obviously as humans we overdose on alcohol.
Yeah, from time to time, brother, we do overdose on alcohol. But I think with Nutty, just to add on to what Nutty is saying about the control thing, but with that same thought, not everybody's going to react the same way to that drug. Some other people are allergic to insulin, right? I'm just making it. Totally, you need insulin, but somehow you go to a doctor or you go to a hospital and they find out that you're allergic to insulin. So I think it's the same thing with drugs. Some other people would smoke marijuana, right? And for most people, it probably does nothing. And then some other person smokes it and they have a psychotic break, right? They just maybe maybe it also goes back to the thing of which a certain family does not eat a certain kambi inyama yembuzi because inyama khona generally yagulisa. Maybe then there might be a genetic thing that's going on there. We don't know. And maybe there's also with drugs, so ukuthi bathi no, insango kabantu banayibhenya because mayibhenya iyakhala, right?
Yeah.
That you're having a psychotic break. So nobody is actually trying to study with okay, when they smoke it, what happens? What happens in their brain? Is the brain being chemistry
Okay, but I'm gonna take it back to the doctor. The doctor probably did that. That's why when there's trials, when you sign up for a trial for a new drug, let's say cancer, they ask you about your family. Like, was anybody in your family diagnosed with cancer before, and all of that. They try to discover that, and then that's when they'll make a decision of whether or not you are you're a suitable candidate for that trial or not.
Oh yeah.
Besides them being expensive and all that.
To also add on it, because I think with this mental health thing, I think it's important that we also touch on this. I think drugs being illegal is a terrible thing, right? Okay. I genuinely feel that. I think it's, and I'm going to get to the point real quickly, because if those particular drugs are legal, let's forget about that. So second, let's forget about the people that are selling the drugs who are winning. Right? Now let's talk about the impact that it has on people. Right? Sometimes we do want to escape our realities, right? We do want to escape our realities, right? But why not do it in a more controlled way? So if you legalize something, you set up.
So you want the government to want to pop out money, the government to pop out money to build like smoking areas for people who want to.
But even have an actual doctor, an actual nurse, needles are sterilized, or equipment is sterilized and all of that. I'm not saying the government should just legalize and just put in clinics. Yeah. But first they should amongst probably in the country, probably study the effects, just put people through human trial. People above all volunteer, right? And then they study the effects that those drugs have on those particular people. And then if they find out, okay, the reactions to it, and maybe they'll have more info. Maybe they'll tell you people have a certain blood type, they can't. I'm an idiot once again. It's not a medical opinion, guys. It's not medical advice or an expert opinion. They might be allergic to certain drugs. Let me say heroin. Because they can't smoke heroin. If you are B positive, can't smoke heroin, because if you smoke heroin does this to your body, and this is what happens to your body. So now people generally know, okay, dude, I can't smoke heroin. Rather than somebody going to smoke heroin and then overdosing and dying, right? Because there's so much little we can control in terms of the drug use. So I think it being legalized is going to help. It's the same. Alcohol was once banned, though. Alcohol was once illegal.
Yeah. Was it during the Holocaust?
No, 18 somethings.
No,
19
was it? I think it was during the Holocaust.
Probably have to go.
The time they banned alcohol, wasn't it during the Holocaust?
No, the Americans call it white prohibition or something.
Oh, probationary. Yeah. No,
prohibition in the States, they call it that when alcohol was banned.
When alcohol was banned, yeah.
Exactly. So with that same sense, there's certain people who, when they drink alcohol, they completely turn into a different person, right? Yeah. And then there's some people when they drink alcohol, they become their better selves. There's people that we know that when they drink alcohol, there's so much light.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much light that they bring a lot of positivity and all that. And then there's certain people who when they drink alcohol, you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was really unnecessary.
I think if you have to know yourself.
Yeah.
I wanna for me, I think I perform better when I'm sober.
Yeah.
I'm able to handle a lot of things better when I'm sober, because when I'm intoxicated, I just feel out of control.
Yeah.
With me, I can perform at my best in both states, sober or drunk. So it really doesn't matter to me anymore.
No, I think my thinking capacity goes out the window when I'm drunk. My ability to think. That's what alcohol does. It shuts down this part of your brain, the thinking part of the brain. So you think a whole lot less than you just do. Think about the instance when you make the brain with Mahabushan stop.
Can I correct
you? That's such courage.
Okay, but can I correct you? No, you do think when you're drunk, but then you just don't care about the consequences.
No, but
it's whatever.
Yeah, that's why approaches medicals.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever you gotta know.
You don't even
care. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like, but you left it.
Why do you guys say that? Why do you guys have to say that? But okay.
Yeah, but that's the general consensus.
Yeah, the general consensus.
Would you think you're better?
Yeah,
so it's always known what beauty is
And
the measurement
Yeah,
of
Yeah,
the
and,
tripping
and,
pen.
and I think Amachita are trying to disarm Abu baby
Yeah.
and Ababaka Tanila Kunjan confidence.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it does hurt their confidence.
So when I sometimes sometimes I do not want to think because my brain is a constant. My brain is constantly thinking. I'm constantly thinking. I'm always like I'm constantly thinking. Sometimes you know what I want to do? I don't want to think. Sometimes I just want to shut this shut down this part of the brain.
You have this thing that's most people like, but they smoke marijuana for that to just focus on one thing, because like if they try to focus on a problem, then like they start solving other problems which are not at hand.
Besides the problems that they face right now.
A better thing for me to help me focus on that when I'm sober is meditation. I know some other people don't find. I mean, I find it's extremely helpful for me because when I wake up, there's an influx of thoughts, right? There's already those thoughts when I'm sleeping, but there's an influx of thoughts when I wake up. So the first thing I do is I stand up and then I start meditating for like 10 minutes. Nah? And then after I meditate, and then that sort of like sets me up. So okay, what's the focus now? Because if I can go like a couple of days and I'm meditating, I can see there's a lot of things. I keep forgetting things. I'm forgetful and but when I meditate, and when I meditate, it just sets me up. And I think another thing that really helps me is gym.
Oh,
yeah, like that sort of like struggle with my. I feel like it's a personal battle that I win with myself. So I feel like after I come out of the gym, I've won the personal battle for the day. Saying you win it, saying
it's a good distressor as well.
So it's a great distressor. When I come out, so much energy. You think energy pelling, but I peel up. Now when you do things, it's sharper. Like I'm sharper in my decision making in everything that I do, and I'm more sure of myself because I think as a kid, I had this again imposter syndrome for most of my life. So when I was a kid, I believed that even when I was gonna make a decision, it was gonna be right, but I'd second guess it. I'd second guess it a million times before I do it, and I had this thing of Wuti. No, it didn't happen to me because I didn't deserve it. I deserve to be second best, right? I deserve to be second best and all of that. So I deserve to be second best because my decision making was not fast enough. That's what I used to believe. So over the past couple of years, my decision making has gotten really, really better. First, because maybe the meditating had helped, and it was I like this thing I like to say, getting out of my brain. I want to get like it's a small nyana voice in my dude, get out of your mind. Because if you don't, you're not gonna do anything. Just get out of it.
Yeah.
Like for that day, get out of your mind. And then when I come back, I come back late, so I don't have enough time to get into my mind to think about all of these things.
Well, that's very nice for you. Well, some me now with my cases, of course. Then we can chill together, drink alcohol, and do whatever. But the minute I step into my room or I'm alone, I find myself alone in a space. Immediately, my brain starts thinking. I overanalyze things.
Pop drunk.
Eh?
When you're pop drunk.
Like I think of things.
Yo, dog.
Like my brain is always racing. That's why.
So you can't like get into your room like when you're drunk and just on the bed and sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, if I'm totally like
if you try,
but then if we have like a couple of drinks, like generally here's Pooza, I get into my room, and then the thoughts keep coming. Ngiyacabanga. That's why, like, I'll get into my bed at 9 p.m. I'm in bed. I don't only sleep until 12. 4 o'clock, I'm already up, thinking.
But you know what?
Thinking.
You know what it is with me? I think the reason why I can sort of shut those thoughts up much is because I have solutions for them. You know the things that you think about and you probably don't have. Yeah, but it led to me the entire week. If I don't have a solution for something, I'm probably thinking about it. I'm like, how do I do this? The entire week, I'll think about how to solve it, and it's not gonna until I find a solution to it. So most things I have solutions to. So I think about something, I can think about it the whole day, and I'll marinate on it. And then by the time I sleep, I already have an answer. Okay, this is what I can do, but it requires for me to wait. So what do? I wait in the meantime. It's difficult to wait. It's difficult to wait to have patience.
I don't have
Yeah, it's
patience.
yeah. People say you must have patience, but
I
that shit is
don't have
difficult.
patience.
Imagine now you're sitting the entire time. You have to be patient too, so you can do that. But what I've recognized, Wuti, I should look forward to it. So in the meantime, let me just prepare myself to look forward to the thing that I'm gonna be doing, right? So now I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm really, really looking forward to it because I think Wayne's Obama is just gonna it's just gonna make me a bit more happier, shall I say, right?
Achieving the goal that you've been struggling to find a solution towards, and then when you achieve it, like you feel so much happier.
No, you know what? It. I have purpose already, but when I feel like when I start doing that, I feel like my life already makes sense, but I feel like it's just gonna make me better. I'm just gonna feel better. I'm just gonna do better, and I feel like that will be my contribution to that. My real contribution to the world. That's what it's gonna start because I feel like now this thing that I'm doing now is setting me up to have a contribution. So this thing that we call it the nitty gritties. It's the details that it's the things that everybody skips, right? It's the thing that everybody skips before they become successful.
That's the problem, and that's the biggest problem that hinders mental health, positive mental health to the youth of today. Is that everybody wants to find or see themselves successful, but skip it in your corner.
Yeah,
You
in the
cannot
meantime.
skip it.
But in the meantime,
Point
they don't
A,
wanna.
if your goal or dream is in point C, the journey from point A to point B will shape you into the kind of person that you have to be when you get to point C.
But then again, there's work ethic into it. Then you have to put work ethic into it. We're basically saying now, in order for you to get to that place, you have to put in the work now. You can't skip a step because if you skip a step, you're not gonna get there.
Exactly.
So you can't skip a step. What you have to do is do the A, not to C, but the A, and then go to B, so you can get to C. Yeah. So I feel like when you do that, let's say you sort of feel it's okay. I'm doing it better. So I feel like now I'm at B now. I was at point A. I feel like there's a lot of preparation that I've done for the year, right? It's some of the things that I thought I was going to achieve by the end of the year, I haven't, and I've accepted those, and now I know that I'm probably going to do better for the following year.
With all that I've said now, it's coming back to me. I don't have an alcohol problem. I don't have an alcohol problem.
Why do you say that?
No, not because I'm thinking like people at home probably thinking like, oh, so which means this guy Magana Nginga will have your pussy. No, that's not always the case. Sometimes I just put myself in room and then think about things. But
okay, so you use alcohol as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, if it gets too much, at some point it does get too much. I mean, being a father for one, being a son, being
I was
a brother.
about to get to that. We'll go to like, okay, please continue with the list.
Yeah, well, being a father, son, brother, uncle. Because in as much as, because here's the thing, today's society, like they've put finance over and above everything. If you cannot financially provide for abantu endlini or incosi yakho nani nani, you're not a worthy father. But they forget ukuthi encosini umntwana akanandaba nemali. First and foremost. Number two, umntwana does not know or understand the concept of money. Umntwana mawungena incosi endlini, it doesn't have to be umntwana wakho. Nomntwana kasisi wakho, umntwana kabani, when you walk into the room, that's all that matters. But now society has made it a norm ukuthi kumele ube nemali ukuze ube nabantwana nani nani. Of course, yes, you do need money, but then now like they overdoing it to a point ukuthi gents mabacabanga yobona abantwana like bayovakasha like no angeke ngikhona ukuyovakasha because anginamali nani nani yabo. And then that takes away in precious time that you could have spent nomntwana. Umntwana akafuni imali. Umntwana ufuna uthando lakho. They want to feel your warmth. Number one. Number two, they just genuinely want to spend time with you, and then now babone. And it fills up. Okay, in my experience, it fills up a void. Like I always, after seeing my son, I always leave Gigo with my heart warm and everything. And so I become the happiest man. So I'll pass it on to you, Ms.
Okay, well, I'm not a dad yet.
Well, okay.
Well,
Nutty,
yeah, but-
Nutty wanted to say something actually.
Oh yeah, so let's give it to Nutty. Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to say is that, like, you know, like, as black people, like, we've been using alcohol as a coping mechanism for way too long.
Yeah.
So my thing is with it, like, yes, we love alcohol, yes, we use alcohol, but we should be trying to find other solutions.
Healthier
Be-
solutions.
yeah,
Yeah.
because,
I
like,
that.
for me, like, angisakhumbula ukuthi, like, where I read this or what I watched, and so, like, there's a reason why, like, uprising in 76 is mostly teenagers and not adults.
Mhm.
Obviously, number one, as a teenager, you have more physique, you are more powerful,
Yeah.
and, like, uktuga is not as much as when
Yes.
you're an adult. When you're an adult, you reason too much.
Yeah.
Like, oh, nabantwana,
Yeah.
you know, like, the older you get, the more reasoning you
Yeah.
become, the more you want comfort and not to
Yeah.
disturb the system and whatnot. But then another thing is that a lot of our fathers were found in a tavern almost every day. So they are way intoxicated too much to be fighting the system. I understand. So
Yeah.
the youth took it upon themselves. So it's okay, you know what? Ematavern angena abantwana angena abafazi at that time. So it was mostly men drinking ematavern, you understand? So nakhona we can say that we're using it as a coping mechanism, but we have to think, wasn't it also systematically placed? When you
Dude.
remove the man from the household via prison, via alcohol, via drugs,
abuse.
yeah, I understand.
All of it,
Obviously, everything is weighing on the man. Njengoba usho, your kids are dependent on you. Your wife, your girlfriend is dependent on you. The mother of your kids, like, daughter, you're the provider.
Exactly.
You understand? Now the system is taking you away from providing. The money
Exactly.
that should be going to groceries, you're taking it to a tavern.
And can I say something quickly?
Yeah.
And one thing that the system has been taking away, and it's not being spoken about enough, and our government is doing nothing about it. Jobs.
Yeah.
Dude, like, that's a pandemic on its own. Like, we are at 50 something percent, 52 or 53% of we have 53% of unemployed youth today.
And we have to be honest, that
That's
youth
half,
is
more than half.
that youth is probably 99% black. That is unemployed.
Yeah,
They
guys.
can't say youth unemployment and be talking about white Indian.
There's
kids.
It can never be the case.
It's mostly black and colored.
But with okay.
The ratio of taverns versus a library. Do you know how funny that
Fuck.
shit is?
Okay. It's not like La,
You know
dude. Where my mother lives, dog. Like, there's literally like 4 to 5 taverns. I even told my mom, okay, when my mom don't die, she won't understand. I was like, what's about the fact that you guys are living here does not sit well with me, because baby girl, no baby boy. So I'm like, it's so scary how easily accessible alcohol is. In my
These days is worse, actually.
Like you find kids drinking. Who say, okay, yeah, we used to drink in high school, but we used to hide the fact that but then now they drink. Like, and
underage even.
Alcohol has become a norm.
Can I maybe I'm not gonna give these kids an out. Of course, they're individuals. They're also responsible for the decisions that they make. But
yeah, they are. But okay,
continue. Yeah, but also you have to think about the fact that how many facilities do townships have that can make kids want to chase their dream? How many? Think about we have one library.
One close to none.
Yeah.
It's not library one.
The multi-purpose has been closed.
Yeah, for a long time now.
For a long time.
Imagine we have one. How many sports grounds do we have? I'm not
Actually,
ngikhuluma nawe umhlabathi la.
No.
Because we can't
Like,
tell
No,
about
but
passports,
nalezo mhlabathi is right. Mfethu, when you are seriously chasing your dreams, all you need is just a fighting chance. If listen to what I'm saying. If if you are passionate about soccer and you wanna see yourself playing the big league, if bathi kuza ama scouts, bathi awuna ma cogs, awuna nix endlalele emhlabathini. If push comes to shove, kumele udlale ngeenyawo, uzodlala ngazi inyawo.
But that's what I'm saying.
You're gonna play with
if we have that sort of drive. I think generally the drive would come from the fact that
Actually,
there's always scouts, but is there enough scouts?
No, there's not enough scouts, but if we are entry.
No, I don't think it's that, Raymond. I don't think
when kids
okay, I kind of understand how they support your dream.
I didn't know this until even okay, I'd like to tell a story. This one time. First time my son went to crash daycare. I got there earlier. The mother and my son were late. And then so I was waiting for them. Eating again in Sebenzi. So my son didn't understand what was going on. I could literally see the confusion in his face. He was so confused. The mother begafuna teacher. Because begafuna okay, no, he's newly registered, so he's coming in his first day today, blah blah blah, and all of that. So until my son turned around and he saw me. And then all of that went away. That's when at the time I was broke. Still am. I'm joking. At the time, I didn't have much money on me. But for the mere fact turned around one corner, and then there was ease on his face, and then he smiled, and then he hugged me. That went to show Uguti, parents have so much to teach and contribute towards the upbringing. That's why it should start at home. Because I'm not saying parents should choose a career or whatever. Let your child decide who to follow. All you can do is ask them to please be the best there is out there.
But what I can tell you, like I just want to go back to where we started with the whole drinking thing, and like we're saying it's in the hands of the youth. They have the brain to decide for themselves whether they want to drink or not. But think about when we were growing up. A multi-purpose was open. The library had more people than it has right now. You understand? There were sports programs even. Like there was cricket, there was soccer, like on my ground, boxing, So what I want to say is the problem started when adults didn't want to become adults anymore. You understand? When like our grandparents were old now, we could see they can't be on the streets as much as they could. Pella, think about it. You couldn't walk into a tavern and buy a beer.
Never.
You couldn't. Listen, before the whole Pakistani tuck shops were owned by black people. You couldn't go to a tuck shop and buy a cigarette.
That's a multi-billion rand industry, if I may add. I'm a tuck shop, but look where it's at right now.
It's not in our hands. Dude, you couldn't even.
Why? Bathi ngize now. Uzombuza ukuthi why. Bathi hayi phela ngifuna ukwenza sure ukuthi umntana ugwayi akazithengeli. Uthengela ugwayi.
There was a time also you couldn't go to Sneeman and buy weed. There was a sense of community where every adult was your father and your mother at the same time.
But it takes a child to a village to raise a child.
So this thing, the whole thing became broken. I mean, okay, before I move forward, there was a time also when we were growing up, you couldn't walk Nebia in the open. Like you had to have a plastic, a bag or something, whether you're an adult, a teenager, you couldn't be exposing beer to the public. Understand it like that. Because children learn vicariously.
There was a certain, maybe you could say sort of like fear or maybe respect.
It was respect.
It was respect. Next door.
Dude, you couldn't even Jola.
Next thing you know,
Yeah.
Do you know what broke abazali to all their parents, our grandparents? The system, am I right?
No, I don't think it's that.
No,
Where
where I'm from,
Yeah.
you know what they would say. Oh, rights,
Yeah.
But
That thing became huge.
For me,
That thing
that is
became
okay.
huge.
That is what broke.
Okay, I know that's huge, yeah. I know that's huge. But here's another thing, though. We cannot be condoning corporate punishment. That's one. Nah, one.
Okay.
Two.
That's true.
Then the corporate, we have to call it what it is. It's abuse, guys.
Okay, well.
Yeah, no, we should not sugarcoat it as abuse.
No,
whatever ways we.
I mean,
it's fair.
I agree with you, but people have different opinions.
Yeah. I agree.
People will think to the times that I'm talking about and be like, but it worked.
It worked. No, it
really
did work.
No,
it worked.
Guys,
it worked.
Guys, it didn't.
It worked, in fact.
No,
it worked.
Okay.
It didn't.
It worked.
Okay. Muzi, can you hold your thoughts? I want to continue what I was saying.
Yeah.
So now, multi-purpose closed down. The sports programs closed down. Parks are no longer parks. Can I tell you why? Think about it. We have tennis courts, it's a straight line, but those are always locked. They're open at a certain time. Number one, kids starting having too much freedom.
Yeah.
So now you're taking, think back to Etafeni Park before World Cup and during World Cup and shortly after World Cup. You understand how clean that place was, how the swings were working, how everything was in order. The grass was always cut low, neatly. So now you're giving kids too much freedom. Now kids, obviously, when we were growing up, we couldn't do it randomly. So what do? We go to Ama Park, the sports centers, the cricket tennis courts. We do drugs there. We drink alcohol there, and obviously, Sitini, Abazani can't hit us because we have rights. You understand? So now they start easing off. Even the caretakers are no longer taking care of the place because kids have rights now. They can do anything. We can't hit them. So that is why the hood is like this now. That is why we have Abu Nyaupe at the rates that we have. It's because everything eased off.
Okay. Can I counter all of that?
Sure.
I have to go back to the corporate punishment, though. Right? I understand where and why they use that as a tool. But we cannot say it worked. First of all, black men have a problem with violence. Same thing with women. We have a general problem with violence, though. Women are verbally abusive. Women are verbally abusive. Men are
physically abusive these days.
Men are physically abusive and verbally abusive as well.
Yeah.
Men do not know how to iron out their problems except with violence. It starts with the smallest of things.
Okay, no.
So we can't say.
Can I encourage you on that? Please do not generalize on men and women, because I feel like you are generalizing.
But it's a sense.
Yes, there is a problem. It's just that we can only say black men have ilokunja because now, number one, Tina, if me medium, it's gonna be known. Mara ufantonder or Unaidu or whoever, what do? They cover it up.
Okay, I get that. But I think with
so
this,
you see,
because I'm talking about predominantly, I'm talking about black men, I'm talking about black people specifically in this case. Let me correct it, right? I'm talking about black people specifically, right? We have a general problem with violence, and that is why we ask these stupid questions with women why they're not leaving relationships where men hit them. We ask that question a lot, though. Think about the time where your parents would hit you and they tell you that they love you. So listen.
No, I'm not gonna counter you.
But and then the guy would say the same thing to his girlfriend. I thought now what would in the back of my mind she say, okay, so that's why I'm shy.
You know where that stems from? That stems from watching your mother being beaten. You understand?
Exactly.
Like for a guy, for a male, ngifuna ukuthini, for umntwana omfana,
Yeah.
like you looking at your dad hitting your mother and afterwards uttering the words ngiyakuthanda ngiqondisa amagwegwe. You understand?
Yeah.
You think, oh, okay, uqondisa umfazi amagwegwe kumele umshaye.
Yeah.
If it's a daughter looking at that action, watching their mother stay even after that, be like, oh, ungishaya ngoba uyangithanda. So if ngithola i-boyfriend engangishayi, angithandi.
That's where the mistake was for us as abantu abamnyama.
But
That's not the mistake. It's just that kids learn vicariously. So what you do in front of kids is what they think that is right.
Hence I'm saying, Guti, that's where the mistake was.
Yeah.
No, but no. Guys, what are we saying here? What I'm saying is, we didn't. When you say we turned out great, we didn't.
We didn't turn out great.
Yeah.
But are you a nyaupe?
No.
Compared to what we could have been, we turned out pretty great.
There's a lot of things we could have been.
That's a social issue. I'm probably gonna get to in a moment.
But then the thing is, okay, I'm not saying corporal punishment is right, but you probably didn't turn out worse because those things still existed, like the sports programs. You understand? Those things, like the best way to get a child not to become like the worst version of themselves is to keep them busy.
Give them something to do. Yes.
Yeah. So the fact that your parents like made you go do sports and as a look in a way like everybody. Like after school, it becomes
a political and a social issue at that now. It's no longer a case of Guti. Parents are not doing enough. I'm going to explain.
But parents are not doing enough. I'm not saying corporal punishment is right, but the time that parents gave up on the youth and being like, as koningumshaya lona because manama rights, that thing,
okay. Here's what I think corporal punishment. I understand Guti. They were raised on corporal punishment themselves, and they thought it was the right thing to do. I get that, but it doesn't mean it's not wrong, right? I genuinely feel if a parent is not open to changing their mind about something, I think that's a problem. I
don't understand.
No, if they don't, okay, like corporal punishment itself, right? Corporal punishment itself.
Oh.
Don't you think now you're there, now you're raising a child? Don't you think there's better ways to raise your kid? And
there are.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is, at the time they recognized what they knew was corporate. They didn't know Abaya as a name. So it's a cycle of it's a cycle of violence. You can't say it is. It was a cycle of violence, though.
It was a cycle of violence. Like that's why I'm saying, I'm not saying corporal punishment is right because like they took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
But like there was corporal punishment which was not as harsh or as military as it became at the end.
Yeah, and I feel when you say corporal punishment like ushamdan. No, I listen to
that concept. It's that concept of self-inflicting.
Okay, let me tell you this. Go wrong it's illegal. Let me put it that way. It's illegal. Why? Because of infringing on my rights.
Yeah.
However, if loyo muntu okay, no, let's forget this example.
But what I'm saying is, even if the corporal punishment is not as harsh as you think it is, for the fact that you are inflicting physical pain on another human being.
That's what I'm saying. Like the inflicting of pain is what made corporal punishment wrong because it became military. You understand? You can we are called kuzumdwana like like
no, don't do that.
Yeah.
We can say that's corporal punishment as well. But then every time we say corporal punishment, we think about the extreme, like shaywa ngamabhande ngamapini nangeyihlahla nange which like you bruise, you bleed. So mina into engishoyo ne ukuthi like okay, my form or the understanding of corporal punishment I'm talking about is the thing where like adults were in unison. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not inflicting that pain, you understand? Just in Yakuza nje, you know, like a slap on the wrist. But then now, umtanako ugijima uza kuwe. Baba or mama ubani manongishayile nani. So now wena uza uvutha. You understand? Ushaya nami. That's what became wrong. Because kudala you can slap a child on the wrist. Agijime ayokumzali wakhe. Umzali uyenzeni nana. Umzali makeza kuwe akezi avuthile. You understand? Uza kuwe like uzokhuluma. And then like nonke niyavumelana ukuthi okay, what the child did is wrong. So mina mangifika endlini nami I will do my own form of punishment, whether it's grounding, corner, whatever, you're not getting sweets. You understand? So abantwana bebaqonda amagwegwe kanjalo.
Yeah. So what you're basically saying, the social responsibility I think that's what you're not saying. Right? Social responsibility I say.
So another thing is that njengoba sisho ukuthi like that's why we have more. Well, right now I don't want to say more boys drinking, but now it's like everyone, boy, girl is drinking.
Nobody cares.
Women drink more than men.
We understand.
Nobody cares.
It's because of that whole thing.
Yeah, nobody cares.
You understand? Yeah. So now it's like whether you're a black man or a black woman, you are equally fucked. Because back then it was black men who were equally who were fucked.
So imagine,
so you can still have
it falls on the adults themselves.
Yeah.
They let the community have so many talents. First of all, and they let the government they let the government get away with not developing more sports practices.
Exactly.
As you say.
Okay, can I just put my 2 cents? Donna, what you just said actually it's like a light bulb just hit me like. Do you have any idea how fucked our children will be?
They will be fucked because like
the mother
we realize
the father drink. So at least back in the day when the father drank, there was a mother who was holding it all together.
Exactly.
So now there's a mother and a father drinking.
What are we saying? What are we saying? Are we saying both people shouldn't drink?
No, that's not what we say.
No,
music.
What we're going back to is that kids learn vicariously, and the closest thing to a role model a toddler has are the parents.
Exactly. Can I say this, dog? Can I say I have nothing against alcohol?
Yeah. Me too.
And I have
nothing against
alcohol. But then at some point of our life, we need to sit down and come to realization of how much of a problem alcohol is to the black community. There's this guy. I saw a video on Facebook. I've been googling my reels, and then I came across this video. Actually, the black people took our jobs as the KKK. And then he further went on to explain that we no longer go into amakaswabo or in. No, we just give them alcohol and then we supply them with guns and sit back and watch them kill themselves.
But it goes back. That's why Nutty, all of these issues, all of these issues are related. Now it becomes a political thing.
It's always been political.
Exactly.
Let's just be real. In mental health, both women and men, especially black women and black men, in mental health, has always been political. If you can break someone down psychologically, you've destroyed them.
Which is where I'm sorry which is why, dog, Nutty, our children are gonna be fucked.
Our children are gonna be fucked.
Like you come into this world, you're innocent, you don't know nothing, and then when you're 5 years old, umamako upumile uyophuza utshwala, ubabako upumile uyophuza utshwala. Okay, one of them doesn't make it back home. Bambulele tavern. We all know that bambulele tavern. Trauma, number one. Number two, you come to the realization with Esa emhlabeni buraf. So this is what the world is. Babulalo babam. Service delivery, abogata, abamtholi umuntu, or there's not enough evidence, he walks estradini, uyambona lo muntu. That inflicts pain. And people handle pain differently. Some use a substance, some uba anger. It becomes so much anger. There's a lot of people who tell about umuntu and then they don't show no remorse. That's anger. That's where it stems from. Protect let us protect mentality.
If we can do this, if we can protect the kids right now, I promise you, the adults they will become,
dude,
alcohol consumption will decrease
exactly.
more than 50%.
Okay, guys.
Drug abuse will increase.
Can I say something like that? And I'm proud of you guys. And okay, well, Muzi, I'm not excluding you. I'll be proud of you. I know you'll make one heck of a father. I'm proud of you guys. Nutty, Sbucha, Lunga, who else? Vrega. Like Tando as well. Oh, shout out to Tando, by the way. Like the kind of guys that I'm surrounded with, they're responsible fathers, they're hands on. Like, Undana angazingiz Undana tai, ingosi ziyankhathaza or in. No. Ingosi magati siyajumpa. Ingosi magati siyajumpa. And dude, like for me, that's actually what kept me going. Because there was a time and when shortly after my son was born, I had to step away from abangani, alcohol consumption and all of that. And maybe I'm a chance to without reasons and no. But I used that time to focus on myself and my lady at the time and Ilokunjan in Masiam. I had I had to build a family dynamic for 14 C3. So that my son, my son is free whenever he's with me. He's free whenever he is with his mother. So in the Uti, like I don't like just be open, talk to them, whatever's bothering you, do that. And I'm glad Uti like they look like they have it all figured out and covered. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Shout out.
Shout out.
It's always great to hear because there's not too many great
each other.
But I have to say, since this started, we've been complimenting the kids almost every episode.
Yeah. No. Yeah, in the podcast, you have been, but
or like in real life.
No.
Yo, I feel you.
And there's this sense of competition, like amongst society too. Whereby if umuntu yenza no dog, it's not a competition. Raising children is even great. But be sharp because at the end of the day, I always tell I know my son is way too young to understand this, but I always tell him this, dude, one day I'm gonna leave this world, then you're gonna be on your own.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sort of preparing him. I know it's not the right thing to tell him because it's money, but then with what's happening these days, like
you're never sure.
I'm never sure.
Any moment is your time.
Yeah. And then you ask, I know a lot of people ask why. Dude, like take out the trust fund from Donako, life policies, insurance, like said, and apparently, and unfortunately, this is not a conversation that we have as a black community because it's a taboo. Or no, I speak about these things openly. When I am telling it, even if you kill me, you're not gonna get my money. My child is gonna inherit all my money. So you see, and it gives you a peace of mind. Go to no more as go to Tina Samantha like Samba in the easy right, like studies in this. So if ever anything happens to me, I have a peace of mind. No, my child will be well taken care of.
Yeah, so another thing is, as a black man, get a will.
Oh, shoot.
Get a will, because at the end of the day, you die with properties.
Yeah.
Write that short, even if you write it down on a piece of paper, though.
Yeah. You don't
just
need
get
a fancy
will.
lawyer. Dude, even if you come here.
You can get a free will. There's like you just have to Google, like there's a week where it's like a will week something, and you can go to lawyers and get a free will, and you can renew that every year. I mean, a will is like 50 rand a year or something like that.
Yeah, so like and like it's very complicated because now people feel entitled when someone is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel good,
especially if Nakona shut down.
Exactly. As in someone who I feel good, my family won't be any different. So if I die now and then all the policies pay out, everybody's gonna want him Algarulan.
Yeah.
So
and he's gonna be left with zero.
So we are gonna say, no, he was my son, or he was my uncle, or everybody's gonna want a piece. It's money, dog. Yeah. Money brings out the worst or the best in people.
Yeah, when you talk about money, don't cancel out anything.
Dude,
everything is possible when it comes to money.
Yeah. Never rule out anything.
Dude, never rule out
anything when you're talking about money. But I think just to sum up this conversation that we're having, man, it's of course it's also our jobs to make sure that our kids are raised in a better environment. And maybe that's the onus is on us also to try and make those communities better themselves, right? And with you said something earlier that it's been ringing in my brain, right? About the only value men have is through what they can provide, right? And Chris Rock made a joke on this other Netflix special of his, right? He said only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally.
Dude.
When you're a man, you are loved under the condition that you provide.
Yeah, actually, I remember seeing that.
Exactly, but also it goes back when Joe was calling a mental health dog. I think sometimes we forget to be ourselves. You said it, right? You said I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a friend, I'm a brother, and probably I'm a colleague at work also. But you forgot to be yourself.
Yeah, no. Sometimes I don't even remember what being myself is like.
Maybe, and I think it's important to remind everybody that as much as you are so many things to so many people,
I'm also my own individual.
Exactly. You should be yourself, because when you be yourself, it allows you to be better with other people, though.
Yeah.
When you take care of yourself more, when you love yourself more, the ability to love other people becomes enhanced.
Exactly.
When
you can't love somebody else when you don't love yourself.
With you guys raising your kids, right? If you love yourselves more, you feel like you can raise your kids a whole lot better. Because if you are not giving from a position of love, right? An empty cup, shall I say? When you're emptying from an empty cup, what's there to empty?
Nothing.
So I think it's important that James, you remember to be yourself.
Yeah.
If whatever that means for you, remember to be yourself. Yes, we have these relationships with these great people, and you have a career, and you have something that you're trying to pursue. But you are also a human being. You're a human being, and I think we are not our finances. We're not.
No,
we're not our finances. We are not what we can bring to the table. We are simply ourselves. We have value as we are, because I think we take that away from our stuff. We take it away. We take away the fact that they are men because they can do 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5.
Have you realized ukuthi umntwana okhule nomama nobaba nomntwana okhule nomama kuphela abafani?
It's never the same. Sorry. When
a child that was raised by a mother and a father, and a child that was raised by a mother. I'm not saying mothers are doing one heck of a job. Stella, I'm not taking anything away from it. I'm just trying to say. I'm just trying to show what evaluate it will be. As Abu Baba. Like umntwana unomama nobaba uyazi ukuthi okay, like mina for instance, let me use myself as the example. Mina, whenever I want to make a life-changing choice, or like I know Guti, I have to go home. I ask them separately and then I bring them. There was a time labbing from home. Okay, well, let me say this. Okay, but then no, there was a time labbing from Globola. So well, I first went to my dad because it was only right to give him time. Okay, time I was like, okay, no, sure. If you read any of the finances, then you did it. Went to my old lady. Mom, my mom is not a lady of many words. She was like, okay, okay, I'm telling her. Oh, okay, then I accept that then. Papa already. So you see, imagine if me having Kuliso Mama I would have had to figure all of those things out. New one. As Umchida. So at least my dad always tells me, okay, Donna, ngiyakuthanda uNkosi yami, ne? So I believe ukuthi mina, when I tell you to do something, it can, okay, well, it could be wrong, but then it would have never been my intention to put you in harm's way. So everything that I do or everything I say to you comes from a good heart. So with that being said, you know, Uguti, my dad and I don't talk much, but whenever we talk, it's a meaningful conversation. So he's added value in my life, so much value that I don't think my mother could have had.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah, I think Name goes back to how it's strange, nah? How usually men have better relationships with their mothers, right?
Yeah.
I think I have a better relationship with my father. Yeah. Dog, like my dad, like with that mother father thing. I feel like my dad is. So that's how you. I was making a speech at his wedding. I was saying.
Shit, why did I wait? The day that we
No,
or the day before?
The day before.
Oh, okay. Shit, I was like, wait, why didn't I see you make a speech?
I've been okay if I made a speech then.
Yeah.
So I made a speech the previous day, and so my sister actually hits me up on the Friday. She's like, "Dude, you wanna say something at the?" I was like, "Yeah, right." And then on the Saturday, there's the whole reception, and then of course individually, my mama was a So I made a speech about her, of course, and then I made a speech about my dad. And then with my dad, I said, I know who I can model myself after. If there's an example on how to be a man, my dad is my reference point. Doesn't have to be anybody else. So my first reference point to being a man is my dad. My dad taught me how to be gentle, how to be kind, and how to be considerate of other people, and how to have patience. How to have patience, right? Because he has so much patience for us, and he has so much other patience. And I saw how he treated my mother, right? Because you can see another my dad, he never raises his voice. There's no need for him to do that, right? They would say well, they'd have these tough conversations away from us.
Yeah.
There was never one instance where I
takes us back to what we're saying. Like,
I've
ladies, gents, viewers.
Yeah.
Did you just all feel how soft Muzi is?
Yeah.
It's because his parents, whenever they had a disagreement, they did it away from the children. Proves our point. Like what we're saying from the get-go.
I'm a softie, guy. I'm a softie.
And there's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with it. But you remember when I said I was going to recruit, I forgot to correct you earlier on when you said,
then
they would see being a can.
Yeah.
They sort of taught me that whilst I was growing up. And of course, you can't blame certain people for that. And I was like, and then when I realized, I was like, screw this. So what? I can't. Listen, I want to be soft. Listen, I'm a softie. I'm in touch with my feelings a lot, and I've learned to air out my grievances. Yeah. Because I internalize a lot of, and I think internalizing my feelings. They sort of, my shoulder would get sore. It's strange, and I think there's a correlation between that. When you internalize a lot of feelings, I think there's a correlation because sometimes you'd internalize feelings and you'd have this terrible back pain or pathway sad or something like that. So with that internalization, I realized that this can't be good for me or my body or my mental health though. Because if I internalize all of this, so I found an outlet or a person that I can talk to without judgment, right? Without judgment. So from time to time when I feel as if okay, I'm internalizing a lot of stuff, right? I'd find a way with it. And when I feel like I need to cry, I'd find myself. Yes, throughout the day I'm alive. I'm saying badass shit at work. Yeah, I'm telling people to do it. I'm doing my job. During the day, I have these relationships with people. I do what I need to do. And then when I'm with myself, and then there's this release. Right? And then after that release, now I can start thinking about solutions. Right? So first I cry, and then after crying, I find solutions. Because I feel so much better after I cry. I feel like I can think a bit more. I think I can think more clearly when I cry. So I think I realized that I was always in touch with my emotions, man. But when I was a kid, I used to cry, but for the smallest of things, bro. For the smallest of things. But more local cool, like people said, nah, the window they cut. In the back cut. In the back cut. But
Okay. Can I just get in because like we
Yeah.
are over time now.
Over
So
time.
and like you guys said things that make me like some things sparked other things I saw earlier this week.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like we need a part two. We don't have to do it immediately, but like when we all have the time again, I'd like for us to have a part two on some of the things that sparked my mind. Also, another thing I just want to say, which like we're talking about men's mental health now, but we also have to give it up to the women, especially that phrase. In which it doesn't come to my mind. Strong black woman, the strong black woman phrase comes from the hardships of apartheid and stuff like that. Mabati, Wimbogoto, in. You must think about this. Men had an escape via the alcohol, but women didn't, and they had to take care of the household, raise the kids, cook for you. Mawubuya bakwashele, bakayinele. When do they get the escape to deal with their mental? So shout out to the women.
I wanted to say something.
So that's why I'm saying that one I would like for us to have a part two as well of how the system also like broke the black family. The fact that we were raised by single women. Guys, like obviously from the conversation you've had, Umuzi grew up with both parents, especially the father was present. So the way he thinks and the way that I think is totally different. You understand? I was raised by a single mother, so in me, like there's that thing with okay, shit. Obviously, when I was young, I wanted to have kids, and then I got to my teenage years. I'm like, shit, I don't want to have a family. You understand? Because you start seeing reality for what it is. You understand? So I was like, shit, my kids are gonna grow up with a single mother as well, you know. So you start thinking of these things, how it's never gonna work out, and if you do, how much better you want to be. You understand? So I feel like there's that thing as well, like the psychology of the system is not broken yet, because you find that now there are more black people not wanting to procreate, not wanting to have families because of the effects. You understand? The fact that we see more black divorces than that makes you think, shit, a family in jail.
But right now,
okay. With that being said, I don't think you're trying to discourage abantu abafuna ukushada.
No, I'm just saying.
Because no, I get what you're saying. Yes, I get the context that you're coming from. But let me give you this. You never hear of the planes that have successfully landed. You only hear of those that crashed.
Yeah.
Somebody said that.
Yeah.
It's like marriage. You never hear of the successful marriages. You only hear of those that got divorced. They even the ones we see. Yeah. They use these terms but in American soldier.
Yeah, American soldier.
If high.
But that's the thing with like we also see it in our communities. The most successful marriages were of our grandparents. You understand?
Okay.
And Nakona, like think about it, life expectancy has gone down. So then yes, we don't hear of the failed relationships because like a lot of young men and women die when they're still young in marriage. So we have more widows, and you understand if it doesn't jado.
So it's an entire combination of possibly comes in.
But like we don't see the successes of our grandparents had. You understand? Right? Yeah.
All I can say is that I just want to love my wife and love my kids.
Yeah,
but no, that's actually true.
I just want us to delve into that.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it. Like all we spoke about, like how our dads being in prison, how our dads moving from the homestead to live at Joburg for mining. Yeah, I understand. And actually, any period of time that a man is away from the family, that is not a full home.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
that's
It's
full,
not
that's food
actually.
for thought. That's so much to think about.
Yeah.
Guys, quickly, wrapping it up. No?
Yeah.
Let's be brief. Happy places. Three of them. Name them.
Happy places for me.
Yeah, have your happy place. Where do you go to happy place?
Ooh, happy
It's
places.
it's mental.
Number one, seeing my son. Number two, going to the bank.
Of course, money. Money.
And then yeah, number two and number three is very important for me because it's what what can possibly alter my life to the better. Like studying towards my degree. That's just okay. After my son, that's just top tier.
Yeah.
Right. Nutty, happy places.
For me, number one, being outside of the hood
That's your happy
is
place.
my happy place. Like
Mm.
any time that I can get to like go to the mall,
Yeah.
not in Molala Luxion,
Yeah.
like
Oh, guys.
in the suburbs, like
Oh, shit.
whether it's like shopping, having coffee, going to a restaurant,
Yeah.
anything actually, just being outside of the hood,
Yeah.
just seeing how the elites live.
Yeah.
That is my happy place, number one. Number two, getting to create, like when like I'm doing the thing that I love the most.
Yeah.
That is
That's your happy
another.
place.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my happy place.
That's another level. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have to
The
say,
Your third.
my third has to be like, I mean, with my kids, yeah, but the third I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it. The
Yeah.
third when like, with my family, like having just a celebration of sorts, and
Yeah,
you know, that type of vibe, clamping on my Christmas and
Yeah,
whatnot, or like birthdays. That is number one. Number two is just being alone. Like when I'm alone, like that is also like my happy place.
Okay. I have. These are current. No, it's not a general thing. I have current happy places. One, alone time. Thoughts to myself. That's number one. Number two, it's my girl. She's my happy place. And three would be doing this. I never thought I'd enjoy doing this more than I thought I would be enjoying it. It's the strangest thing. So these are my three current happy places.
Yeah.
So one is being alone. Two, it's my girl. And three, it's doing this podcast. And I feel when I do those things, because when I'm alone, I'm so happy because I'm just with myself. I have these thoughts to myself. I'm doing things that I just wanted to do. Maybe it could be the simplest thing. I could be watching Amastere, but that's quality time with myself. I appreciate that a lot. I cherish that a lot. And then when I'm with my girl, it's another story. I'm with her. That we could be sleeping.
Busy getting pussy.
What is this now?
Which one is this one?
What is this now? What is this
Don't be
now?
afraid to say that.
What? We could be
You
sleeping.
know you
dog.
wanted to say that.
No, dog.
No, there's
Me and
nothing,
my girl have different forms of
Yeah, yeah.
intimacy, but yeah.
but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Of
Just
course.
as long as you're not raping her, then it's
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay.
Really? Are we ending this? we're
Move
ending this
on.
jokes,
Okay,
with
move
jokes.
on. Move on.
And then third, the podcast, man.
Yeah.
Having conversations with people. Just having conversations, sharing thoughts.
Okay.
And then
I
I
think
think
to add on my head because now you're not elaborating and I was like, okay,
What?
I was like my son the bank and working towards my career and I can elaborate, but okay,
yeah, no, it's fine. So yeah, podcast, talking with people. There's a sense of joy that I'm feeding with doing the podcast. There's a sense of joy. Well, the amount of okay, maybe the views, I don't put that in my mind. The subscribers, don't put that in my mind a lot. I think that what we're trying to do.
When like
is,
forget all of that.
yeah. What
For
we-
you, obviously,
he's passionate.
well, what just came into my mind, Mo, to like, it's your happy place. You just use it like as a journal, as your diary, as your outlet.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's become a happy place because you're
Exactly.
airing things out.
Can I please kindly elaborate on my 3 happy places?
Okay, yeah,
Go
make
on.
it snappy.
Okay, number one, what did I say? My
Your
son.
son.
Oh, okay, yeah, I love my son, and I'm sure I must have probably made it clear
Oh
throughout
yeah,
the entire podcast.
yeah.
I love my son, number one. He's just so magical because I'm like, damn. I find myself looking at him. I'm like, damn, did I really create that?
Yeah.
That's magical, and just watching him grow, that's just magnificent. Number two, going to the bank, getting money. I love that. I love it because it makes me like it allows me.
Money is an antidepressant.
Yeah, no, it allows me
Oh.
to take care of my son. It
Yeah.
allows me to take care of everybody
Oh.
else
Yeah.
that matter the most to me. So I love money,
Of course.
and I respect it as well. Number three, like I said, it's
Yeah.
the second most important. Working towards obtaining my degree.
Yeah, it's passionate.
I'm passionate about that,
Exactly.
and I know for a fact that it'll get me out of the hood one day. May not happen tomorrow, 2 weeks time, 3 weeks, but eventually it will.
Yeah.
So that means I get to take my son with to greener pastures of life. So he's gonna be exposed to places that are better. Because I've never seen a tavern in Masab I've seen. I'm sorry to digress. I've never seen a tavern in Masab I've seen. So if I take him out of the hood, for him to get alcohol, he'll have to study motor driver.
Any chance you get, leave the hood.
But I also love how everything is centered around the son at this point in time. I love that. I really love that. That first of all, you love your son, of course, and two, you love money because it's gonna allow you to take care of your son. And three, and studying towards your kids so you can get your son out. I love that. So we're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
So I think
we can wrap it up. Yeah.
These are my final thoughts for the day. Gents, it's important to have mental checks. Just have a mental check. Even the physical. Yes, the physical we'll talk about it another time, but mental checks. Have them from time to time. It should not be every week. If you want to do that, fine. If you want to do that every 2 weeks, you can do that. Just have a mental check with yourself. Where you at? How are you feeling? Do you still find that you have that purpose? Have you sort of lost yourself with doing everything? And if you have, maybe we've discussed the way maybe you can sort of go back to that. We don't know. And if you feel like you don't have the answers, you can Google it. It's fine to Google something. And to another thing, of which I think is the most important, and I think it's probably it's kind of closer to my heart. You are already extraordinary. You do not have to do anything extraordinary for you to realize that you have something that is of value. You are valuable as you are. You don't have to love somebody. You don't have to be a great friend to your best friend. You don't have to be a great colleague for you to know that you have great value. You have value because you are here. You're a human being of it. First and foremost, you are a human being, then you are a man.
That's true.
So I urge you guys to love yourselves so you can first of all love yourself. Not because you should love other people so you can love them, but love yourself first. And that's gonna allow you to be a generally better person.
Yeah. And if it gets too much, you see me on the streets, hit me up. So I'm still shout out to me. No, like honestly, I'd rather buy you alcohol than come to your flipping funeral. That's just my 2 cents.
And maybe that might be a time for to de-stress. So whether or not you de-stress with alcohol, you de-stress with watching a movie, you de-stress, or you have these mental checks with these kind of things, or you're having conversations with your friends, or you doing some kind of meditating, or anything, guys, do that. Do those mental checks. It's Mental Health Month. Guys, I love you. I love all of you. And it's been another episode of which I thoroughly enjoyed. And we are gonna have another part two because these conversations do not end. Thank you to my children. Now you're mighty.
Man.
Pound it, dog. Pound it. I see you. You're valuable to everybody. Sundays are for everything about life. Peace out.